Thanks for joining us here at 5, and we're going to start tonight with that system we've been telling you about this week that's now brought thunderstorms to the valley. Here's a live look over Portland. Within the last hour, the metro has been seeing showers and thunderstorms moving through, and this is just the beginning. Let's go now to meteorologist Joe Ranieri with what we can expect from today's Weather Impact Alert Day. Joe?
Well, John, we're issuing a weather impact alert tonight and really through early tomorrow morning. Here's why. We're starting to see those downpours move in, hail and lightning, and some strong winds associated with it as well. So if you're driving at all over the next couple of hours, drive carefully because some of these cells are producing heavy downpours. There could be some urban street flooding as well as some ponding on some area roads and highways as well. So here's a look at the radar right now. All afternoon, we've been seeing those storms kind of slowly work its way from the south to north, and here we are at 5 o'clock tonight, right on cue. We're starting to see those heavy downpours, and the blue you're seeing is a little bit of some hail mixed in with some of these showers and also some lightning strikes as well. So as we look at the hour-by-hour forecast, it's going to be pretty strong storms moving through the rest of tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Those yellows and those oranges could be producing some lightning strikes, which we have been seeing pretty much here the last 45 minutes. Heading into early tomorrow morning, the showers kind of back off a little bit, but I'm still forecasting showers in the forecast early tomorrow before things start to dry out a little bit. So as we look at the weather headlines, strong storms are moving in right now, damaging winds and hail. Again, like I said, there could be some areas of urban street flooding. Storms will be strong enough to potentially knock out power. And this pink color you see is something we really don't see throughout much of the metro area or the valley. And that is a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. We also have that red flag warning in place throughout parts of the east side of the Columbia River Gorge. So where could the severe weather roll through? Basically where you see that yellow, that's where the strongest storms are going to be. But anywhere west side of the Cascades tonight are going to be looking at those thunderstorms rolling in. Also seeing some of the winds picking up later on tonight. But I think for the most part, we are going to be seeing heavy downpours basically now through about 7, 8 o'clock tonight. The timing on when those storms get really intense will be basically from 7 o'clock this evening into about the 9 o'clock hour. Then they'll start to dry out a little bit heading into the early morning hours. And earlier this afternoon, Ashley Grams and I were talking about the timing of these storms. And Ashley, looking at downtown Portland right now, you're starting to see some of those heavy cells move in right now.
Definitely. I mean, this is the first rain we have seen all month, and for Portlanders, that's not a weird thing. We see plenty of rain, but I was talking with our photojournalist, Dan, and he was calling this warning weather. I think that's pretty appropriate when you see these dark clouds coming in. We've already seen just a few claps of thunder, and we've heard that thunder. We've seen a little bit of lightning here in just the last few minutes, so we're really starting to see that pick up. But really the concern, because we've been so dry, is to see some of that minor flooding on the roadways. Another concern is going to be lightning-caused fires. Now, I want to show you two photos from Forest Grove Fire because we've seen two of those pop up just in the last few hours this afternoon. You can see that smoke there between the trees. It is not affecting the city or the city's water source. We want to be clear about that. Those fires are in the watershed and they are under an acre. Crews are working with the Oregon Department of Forestry and say one of these fires is completely lined and they're working to control the second one. So again, obviously, we're used to the rain, but the concern here is going to be lightning because it's been so dry. If we see any of that minor flooding here on the roadways, I did talk to PBOT. They say they're watching these forecasts, but it's really hard to predict where we are going to see that flooding, where we might see that impact traffic. Of course, Joe will continue to track this for us throughout the night. John, back to you.
All right, Ashley, thank you. Stay safe out there. Our weather team is constantly tracking the forecast, even when they're not on the air. For the latest updates, visit our website, kgw.com. Now to an update on a death investigation of a woman in downtown Portland. Detectives believe her death is the result of a hit and run. This happened around 3 early Friday morning at the intersection of Southwest 1st Avenue and Ankeny. This is now Portland's 42nd traffic fatality of the year. Anyone with information is asked to contact Portland Police as the investigation continues. To Salem, where police have released new details on a drowning that happened Monday. Yesterday, divers recovered the body of who they believe to be 35-year-old Derek Morgenstern of Salem. The search for him began after 11 Monday night. First responders were called to Wallace Marine Park after witnesses saw Morgenstern jump into the Willamette to help a woman struggling to swim. While the woman made it to shore, Morgenstern never resurfaced. A medical examiner will confirm the body's identity and cause of death. Developing this weekend, union Fred Meyer workers in the Portland Metro have voted to authorize an unfair labor practice strike. And with the vote, UFCW Local 555 is also polling its support for the merger between Fred Meyer owner Cougar and Albertsons. The union's president says this move is due to multiple reasons, including failure to live up to commitments in their current contract. A date for the strike has not been selected. One of the most high-profile congressional races across the country is just across the river from Portland. Today, Speaker Mike Johnson was there to voice his support for the Republican candidate. Our Thomas Schultz joins us now from the newsroom. Thomas, what was it like up there in Vancouver today?
Yeah, well, John, there was a clear buzz along the waterfront from voters excited to hear what House Speaker Johnson had to say about their hotly contested race. On a sunny Saturday morning, all was quiet outside along the Vancouver waterfront. Though inside one restaurant, a key race was being discussed.
This is one of the top 5 races in the country. Everybody's attention is on it.
Everybody, including Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson, who flew in to support Joe Kent. Kent's running against incumbent Democrat Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez in a nail-biter rematch for a congressional seat. Quickly, the Republicans went on the attack.
The out-of-control spending in Washington, D.C., driven by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, that's got to get taken care of.
Gluesenkamp-Perez now has a voting record, and it is one of the worst in all of Congress.
Their hope is to turn a Southwest Washington seat back to red, after Gluesenkamp-Perez flipped it blue in 2022, defeating Kent by a couple thousand votes. Though this time, Johnson believes the race will be different.
He almost won this race last time, and we really believe he can get it done this time.
We reached out to Gluesenkamp-Perez's campaign for an interview. We never heard back, though the incumbent also took to X Friday, saying Speaker Johnson is coming to Vancouver to raise money for her white nationalist opponent. She wrote he should instead join her at a different event for a real feel of Southwest Washington values. And recently, she told KGW her work over the past 2 years has boosted up Southwest Washington.
My hope is that by staying focused on being useful to my community, I have built a bridge.
And John, this is a race that once again is expected to go down the wire, and it's key to both parties for control of the House of Representatives.
Thomas, thank you. Definitely one we're going to be paying attention to as we head towards November. A wildlife warning in Clark County. Washington Fish and Wildlife officials have reported multiple potential cougar sightings last weekend. These were on the west side of Vancouver near Fruit Valley. Officials say they searched the area but didn't find the animal. Experts say if you see a cougar, don't run. They say instead make yourself look as big as possible and slowly back away. Communities across the Portland Metro spent the morning getting their schools ready for the upcoming school semester. It's part of an annual program across the district called Project Community Care. Parents, students, and staff gathered at their local school to clean and maintain the exterior and beautify the interior. At Creston Elementary, the principal says they get about 50 people every year.
Education is really a labor of love because all of the hours that educators put in is far beyond what we see in the building or that kiddos see or parents see. So to have the community be a part of this means so much to us.
And it wasn't just work. Schools also held activities like James John Elementary holding a family barbecue and a backpack giveaway. And with that, you have your own chance to help students in your community get ready for the upcoming school year. Today, KGW held an in-person school supply drop-off at Washington Square Mall. This happened from noon to 4, and as you can see, we also offered some activities and swag for people who came by. If you couldn't come out to see us today, not a problem. One of the best ways you can help is to give online. That's why we try to make it as easy as possible. Go to kgw.com/school and click Donate Cash. We want to thank On Point Community Credit Union, Safeway, and Rick's Custom Fencing for everything they're doing to make this year's school supply drive a success.